What's up, everybody? Chuck here, Power Addicts. Everybody loves these little Wranglers. They're fun to kick around in. Heck, that's my daily driver right there. That's how much I like it. But they got one major drawback. Most of your other cars, your hood latch is on the inside of the vehicle. So whenever you lock your doors, and obviously I can't lock my doors at all, being I've got soft doors. But even if you could, it wouldn't make a bit of difference for the hood latch. Hood latch meaning on the regular cars, they're on the inside. Jeeps, they're on the outside. Then you got your little things right here. That's what holds your hood down. Right there's your little safety latch, keep from the hood flying up on you. But the drawback to it is, you can be sitting anywhere. If you done towed your fishing boat to the ramp, put it in, go out to the lake and do a little fishing. You come back, your hood's popped up, you're wondering what the heck's going on. Guess what? Somebody done stole your battery. Well, guess what? Today's video is where we are going to make a hood latch for the little YJ. Okay, we got the hood open. Let's inspect the situation here. We got 3 bolts that holds the whole hood latch in. Okay, not a big deal. Look right here, there's a lever that actuates that up there. See it moving? Assuming y'all know that, but anyway. Alright, the thought of the design is the bolts that I showed you up top, the bolts I showed you up here, they come through here, down at the bottom, hold the latch mechanism in place. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to take out those bolts. Let's get that thing out of there. Alright, we have a 3/8 socket here on the ratchet, and we're going to take out these 3 bolts. Okay, we're down to the last bolt. Here's what we got to do. Of course, stick your hand through the bottom right here, hold to the bottom of the latch. As soon as you take out that bolt, the latch is going to fall. You take that out, set it over here. And the first thing you think, okay, let's drop the latch out, bring it up through this way. What? Really? It's hitting the radiator. It's hitting the radiator support, the front grill area. It won't come out. Daggone it. I don't want to pull the radiator. Guess what? You don't have to. Watch this. Alright, let's go back from where we started. Here's where we started. Now it's right back in place. You want to drop it down, and you see I got a hand here holding the latch, hand here fixing to guide it through, and I'm holding it down here. Now I'm sure the camera's not picking this up being down inside the grill. Well, what I'm going to do, see the top of it here, I'm going to rotate it. Rotate it 180 degrees. Put that hook upside down. Then what's going to happen, I'm going to bring the latch lever right here. This is where you push to open your hood. Bring it up. There's a lip bump here. There's a bump there. Tilt this back. Bring it out this way. Ta-da! Pretty easy. Alright, look. Here's what happened. Here it is mounted in its original position. Here's the latch where it hooks into your hood. Here's the latch that you push to push this back to open your hood. Okay, here's how we started. What I did, on down inside the grill, I rotated it like this. Bring this lever up through here first. Work it up through. Then this part is going to bump against this. Bring it all the way back like this. If it's here, it's going to come all the way back. Tilt. Then bring it back out and straight up. That's all you got to do. It's pretty simple. Alright, here's a little tip for everybody. Whenever you're playing with metal, metal's expensive. You don't want to waste it. So, plain old poster board like your child may use for their little school projects. Stuff is your best friend when it comes to fabricating metal. Why? Because you can make paper templates, size it, get everything cut where your bends are and everything on paper. Transfer it to metal, and you're up and running with very little waste on your metal. I'm using 1 inch by 3/16, a 3-foot piece. So what first thing I'm going to do, you see I've got the edge lined along this paper here. Get good and aligned. Sharpie, marker, pencil, whatever floats your boat. Trace it out. There. Alright, take the metal out of the way for the moment. simply take scissors, cheap old Harbor Freight freebies, catch those coupons, get those freebie stuff. There we go. That's representing our metal right there. Alright, we got a cardboard template here, and what I've got here is just a regular framing square that's been beat and tattered. This thing right here is 1 inch wide. This is 1 inch wide. There's a mold mark right down through here to where it was made or molded or whatever. I'm just kind of laying that there and make a mark there, marking my center. Just need another center. That. People cut their yards while I'm making YouTube videos. Alright, then it just draws a line through there. There we got it pretty much centered. Alright, now what does that mean to anybody? Well, let me show you something. Alright, here's the latch. There's 3 bolts going through. Put your center line there, center line there. Now, I took this pencil and I pulled it down real good. Got that point where to go down inside that here. So if you look down inside there, you can see a line. Well, I don't know if the camera's picking up. But if you look down through your threads, you can see a line. Mark there. Mark there. That's where your holes are going to be. Now what we need to figure out is this is going to come 90 degrees here. So where do we got to create the fold to make a good 90 till it meets up with this correctly? So I'm guessing, again, this is why I use paper and not metal to figure this out. Let's bend about right there, see what we get. It looks to me like I bent it a little too far out. But let's check the center, make sure it didn't move. And not enough to really hurt anything. Alright, so let's bend it back a little bit more. Straighten it up. There we go. That's about where it's going to hit. So now what we do, see right here? We got a pretty decent 90 right there. And honestly, probably wouldn't hurt to bring it back by another 1/16 of an inch, because the lock shank will go through that no problem. So that way you also got a little room to fudge it in case you overbend, underbend. You got a little room to play with it. So there we go. That's where our bend line is going to be. All right, let's bring it back out and kind of. You want this right here to be as straight as possible, imitating the metal. Got to hold it about like that. Hold this in place here. Just kind of square it up a little bit. There's where I'm going to cut it. I may drop down just a little bit to give myself a little flange to play with, but it's not going to really matter, because right through there is where my hole is going to be. It's going to go all the way through, so it's going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and cut it right there. So, there's that. Here's your marks for your holes. Here and here. And your bend is way back here. So let's mark our bend. Look and make sure the camera's catching this stuff. So there you go. Hole, bend, overall length. All on one little piece of paper. Gotta love the cardboard. Okay, we've got our cardboard laid here on our paper. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and make little divots for where our centers are for our holes. And what I'm doing, the way I'm sizing the hole, I want to tap it a 1/4 because that's what the factory bolts are that I took out. They're a 1/4 thread. So I'm using a 3/16 bit, drill holes there, then I'm going to tap it for a 1/4. Now at this point I could use a center punch, you know, put it on there, boom, tap it, knock a little divots in it for the drill bit. But you know what, I have no idea where the darn thing's at, so I'm just going to drill it. So you put your drill right there, drill till you see a little bit of metal come up. No metal came up, which means your centers are marked now. And now we're going to take this end. Right there's where I'm going to cut it. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to spare y'all a lot of headache and noise and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and drill those holes and cut this. Be back with you in a minute. Okay, I've got the 2 holes drilled. And what I also did, just for kicks and giggles, to make sure I had it right, I line it up. Where did my holes go? There they are. Looking like this, like this. Oh yeah. I don't know if y'all can see it or not. But the holes lined up perfectly. So now, cut this. Now, the chop saw for my metal stuff is up my dad's. So I'm going old school. I got my hand grinder I'm going to do with it. Getting serious with it. Actually, I got one bigger than this, but this right here gets the job done. Alright, everyone. Safety first. Whenever you're playing with metal and a tool that throws a lot of sparks, and you've got to look at what you're doing, what is the number one thing you need to protect? That's right. Cover the peepers. Peeper protector. Peeper protectors. Put them on. Alright, enough of that crap. Alright, I'm going to spare y'all a lot of noise. All I'm going to do is take that big grinder head, the grinder rock, and I'm going to slice it right there. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to spare y'all a lot of headache and noise getting this done. Okay, got that end kind of dressed up. I'm not really detailing it because this right here is actually a prototype. I'm showing you guys how to do it. If you got the metal and the tools to do it. No, I was using regular tools that most people have. That if you want to make one yourself, this thickness right here is probably a bit on the overkill side. But I'm going to drilling and tapping this right here gives me plenty of room for threads. So that's kind of the reason I'm using a heavy stock like this. Otherwise, you can use up the engaged sheet metal and use like a nut, run up there and weld to it for threads to hold it in place. You'll see later on in the video what I'm talking about that. But this right here is pretty much just a rough prototype because actually I've got the tools to do this almost on a production type basis. And I'm just going to rattle can this right here later, just rattle can paint, but I actually do my own powder coat work too. I've got my own sheet metal brakes, mills, and all that good fun stuff. So I could actually do a production parts on these. So if you guys think you might be interested, I mean, just before I start really tossing around the idea of making these as a kit, let me know what kind of interest you may have in them. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and tap these right here. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and tap this first one. I'll show you the second one. The second one's got back next to my boots. It's going to be kind of hard for the camera to pick it up. Basically, you're just going to get your tap, get it started. Make sure it's pretty straight as possible. Just come up this way a little bit. Turn it a little bit, make it bite. Looks like we're good. Just turn it slow, let it cut threads. If it feels like it's binding, back it up, work it a little bit. Twist it a little bit. You feel it bind, back it up. You want to clean the threads out as you're cutting them. Run it down a little bit, binding again, back it off, clean the threads out. Ready? Do it again. Twist. Feel it binding a little bit. Back it up, clean the threads out. Back it up, clean the threads out. we're through. See? There you are. We got threads cut in. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other one. I'm not going to bore you. Watch me cut the other one. Okay, we're back to our template again. Here's what we're going to do. Take that corner right there. Snip it. Flip it over. Snip it. Now, we'll go back to our part. Alright, now we lay our template. Line your holes back up. And take your Sharpie. Right there, see those corners that it made when you snip that? Right there. Come over here, mark it on that corner. That's where your bend mark is. And there we go. And now let's get this baby locked down in the vise and we'll get her bent. Okay. In the vise. If you can see the little black line right there, I've got it in line there with the jaws. And if you really want to be all techie about it, put your square up next to it. Yeah, we're good. So at this point, we're going to lock that vise down good and tight to make sure it doesn't move. Then we'll start bending. Okay, let's crank that vise down. Now our line's there. I want to bend it that way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my hammer. Alright, bent down that far. I'll just kind of save you guys some time on beating. It moved in the part, moved in the vise a little bit, so I repositioned it and beat it down some. But what's happening is I'm hitting it down low here. It's because of that hole right there being drilled and tapped. It's wanting to bend this right here. So now what we're going to do, break it back loose. Then we're going to come over here, put the short side out here, and make sure it's square. Crank it down good and keep smacking it. Looks like we're about there. Get my it looks like I need to bend it a little bit more. Alright, let's give it a couple more whacks. I think we should be about there after bend it just a little bit more. Size it up here. I can see through my bolt holes. My bolts are lining up. Right there is where we got it. Now it looks like our bend on our cardboard template, we could have brought it back probably good close to another 1/4 inch or so. But that's okay because you see it kind of matches the angle here. So that right there will work. Now what we got to do, we got to drill our hole here and through this. Now before I go drilling on this thing, I want to show you something. Right here, I went and ran the bolts. These are the bolts, the factory bolts here from the Jeep. Ran through here, they thread into this, and the threads bite in here. And you see, I don't have the bolts tightened down. It's pretty tight, simply because the thread position difference. This is threaded, but that doesn't necessarily mean that when it comes out of this one, it's going to automatically go into this one. So when it threads in, it's going to kind of, it'll bind on this one right here a little bit, but that's okay because whenever you crank it down, everything's good and tight. This presses up against the core support like it should. This is good and tight, so it's not going to rattle. And if it does, you know, if you happen to nail the threads just perfectly, to where, you know, it gets on and this has got a little bit of movement. Just take another nut, another quarter 20 nut, run it up this way, make a jam nut, and it'll keep from it vibrating. Pretty easy fix. Now, the lock I plan on using on this is just this right here I had laying around. I think it's going to fit in good right across like this. But I think the only, you know, regular shank lock, like a regular master lock or Binks or whatever, this is a Binks, but it's one of those, well, one of those. If the shank will be long enough, it'll come through here and back down, it'll clear this right here. This, not so much, it's going to be a little bit tight. So when it's all said and done, I think I'm going to take a little bit off the bottom of this right here. So anyway, I just want to show you guys that. I'm going to put this in the vise, kind of probably position it like this. That way I can drill right there, and when I drill here, it'll mark the one down here also. So let me get this drilled. Okay, like I said, this is the lock I showed you guys a moment ago. I want to pre-drill it with this 3/8 bit first because it's got that point right there on, which makes it a lot easier to start on the metal. But this shank is too small. This shank on the lock is too big for the diameter of the drill. So then I'm going to step up to this right here, which is a 29/64. I'll step up to that one, and that should be about right for it to clear through. So I just want to show you guys, you know, just a quick, easy way to size up your drill bit to your shank. Okay, you see I've gotten through the lever here. If you look real close, you can see the divot in the little lock bracket. So now at this point, I can take this off and finish drilling that. Alright, holes drilled. I drilled this right here out of the 29/64, so I went and knocked that one out of a 1/2 inch to give the lock a little wiggle room going in. There he goes. So that sits in like that right there. So at this point, I don't have to do no metal taking off down here. This is sitting up here like it should. At this point, I'm going to prep this up a little bit, clean any kind of oils off this, shoot a little paint on it, and we'll get ready to install it. And there it is. I thought I shot some just flat black engine and enamel paint on it real quick. Maybe sometime I'll pull it off and do the powder coat trick to it. If y'all, I've mentioned several of my videos about doing powder coating stuff. If you want to see some of my work, go to www.poweraddicts.com. To the left, there's a link that says Junk Art. Then it says Recycled Crafts. It's where I take old car parts, pistons, and various other different parts and turn it into arts and stuff. You see some of my paint work, my powder coat work there. So I'm going to let this dry, then we'll put it on the Jeep. See you in a minute. Alright everyone, let's put her back together. I remember how we brought her out. Put the hook in first, here. Sit on top of the radiator, lay it back, like that, see? Bring it in like this, and it goes in. Now at this point, of course you can't see with the camera, I'm rotating it at 180 degrees. Then bring the hook up through here. Now remember, we're putting that lock bracket on. So right now all we want to do is put one bolt in here. Now as you put it in, pay attention to, you can look, you see where your the old positioning of your bolts. You may have to push your hook back a little bit, like that. And just kind of put it in place. You don't want it really tight yet. Okay, now, your other two bolts. Go ahead and get them started, just hand starting them. And what you want to do, you take your other hand, put it on the bottom side. You're going to feel just when the bolt starts coming through the lock mechanism. And I feel it right there. So it's just flush with that nut that it's welded to. Now we would take this. Let me find you guys a better camera angle. Okay, you can see the bolt coming through right there. Back it up. So all you want is it flush with that nut right there when it comes through. So what you're going to do at this point, when it's sitting like that, you want to take that flat bracket. If you remember when I showed you, I had kind of pre-assembled when I was drilling it earlier. Set that bracket in position just like that and run your bolts on down. Okay, I have the bracket in place now. Let me pull back a little bit. You can see the edge of it here. Y'all should see the position I'm in just to get this shot for you. There's the edge of it. You set the bracket up against flat of the hood lock and just run your bolts down. Make sure your bolt holes are aligned. But there, I've got that one partially run through. Right here, you see the end of it. And there's the hook where it hooks down. Oh, let me feed the camera back through the grill. Ouch, that hurts. And you can see right here. That's where it's at. Now let me just get it tightened up. Alright, let's get this baby tightened up. What we got to do is pull this bracket forward a little bit, because remember, you look at you can see the impressions where the bolt holes used to be. So kind of pull it forward, get relined back up. You may have to move your hook a little bit here just to get everything fall back in place. I snug that one up. Remember, these two front ones are the ones that's holding that bracket down, so they're going to be a little tighter than that back one. Okay, snug this one up a little more. Snug this one up. And it's tight. Let's see. We got a little hood latch action. Alright, let's put a lock on this thing, see how it fits. Alright, let's put the lock on this thing. Here's our lock. Now, isn't exactly the easiest, this particular lock style right here is not exactly the easiest to get up in here. So here's what you got to do. Feed it in through here like this with the key out of it because it doesn't have enough room to key in it. Feed it in there. Put the key in, turn it back, put it in place. There we go. We got a locked hood. And if you want it unlocked, you simply do the opposite. Put it in, turn it, drop it down, lock it back up, bring it out. That's all you gotta do. Alright, everybody, there it is. That's how it's done. Build you a hood lock for little YJs. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, come on. Subscribe. Every time I do one of these little crazy projects, you'll get updated. You'll get the email. You'll know about it. Come on, give me a likes. Give me the likes. Because whenever you give me the likes, Google likes me, YouTube likes me, it throws me up the ranks. Everybody gets to share in the wealth of knowledge. Wealth of knowledge can also include you. Put comments down below at different ways that you've done things. So feel free to subscribe. Thumbs up for the likes. Comment below on how you would do something. Come on, you know it's right down there. Those comment places down there. You can do it. You can do it. Come on. So hey, thanks everybody for all the feedback y'all have given me, for all the subscribes I've already gotten. I really do appreciate it. So everybody, have yourself a great day. Peace out. See ya.